print, because I helped Fritz reprint them, but that'll take a month or so. So I recommend you get your order in before we run out of these. They're selling a lot faster than I even thought they would, and that's good. People are interested in this information, available at Infowars.com. I guess they are selling for $300 on eBay and on Amazon, so I guess that's probably one reason why, too. You can buy them for a fraction of that. Now, going back to Fritz, you were getting into the Astors, other elite families. Why do they choose people, it seems, from nowhere to then elevate them up into a system that has royal families in it? Please continue, Fritz Springmeier.
Yes, I was talking about John Jacob Astor the first, not somebody that you would think would be successful in life. He one time he's recorded as while he was eating a meal, his hands were dirty, so he reached over and cleaned his hands on the white shirt of the guy next door to him. So he had no social graces. He spoke like he had marbles in his mouth. It was hard to understand his crude English. Not somebody that you would think would rise to the top of society. But he was given the blessing of the Committee of 300 that they were going to elevate the Astors and they were going to make them rich. And so he comes over to the United States, and the fur trade, which was 100% profit, I mean, it was like gold. It was a lucrative business, and it had been going on for hundreds of years. But within a short time, he has a monopoly over the whole fur business. Now, how does that happen? And then he's given a special license to trade during the War of 1812, where he makes incredible amount of money trading with the enemy. And our president, President Jefferson, allowed him to do this. And then the Committee of 300 gave him the blessing. He was the first American family to be able to and be involved in the opium trade.
By the way, I'm going to stop you again. I've had former MI6 people on. It's been confirmed. As you know, the Committee of 300 that they denied existed 20 years ago, they now admit. It ties in Bilderberg, Trilateral, all the major groups. It's basically British intel, as you know. There you are, 17 years ago, writing about it, Fritz, and then expanding on that. I can't tell you how many researchers who aren't even into looking at the occult angle, Dr. Dennis Cuddy, so many countless others we've interviewed over the years, who will confirm that David Rockefeller or others are obsessed with genealogies of families and people. And there'll be some guy who's, you know, top of his class, but of tens of thousands nationwide are in the top of the class. And there'll be David Rockefeller or Brzezinski Brzezinski at their little college they're in the lunch line saying, come with us. I mean, they actually personally, and is that what you're about to get to? This has to do with bloodlines, correct?
Right. I'm just letting people get an awareness of how they operate. Sometimes people think that somebody rises to the top, like our last president, Bush. He rose to the top because he was the best man for the job of president. No, he became president because of what family he belonged to, and because somebody made the decision to elevate him into that role. But he was placed in that. It's like a big stage theater act where somebody decides, okay, we're going to have this person play this role. He can be president for this scene, and he can play the king for that scene. These people are not intrinsically the best for the job. And so John Jacob Astor was sending his ships to Turkey and getting his opium from sources like the Onassis family, and then they would ship them to China and make their big profits. So there was a book, Dope Incorporated. Maybe you read that book. And interestingly, of the top 13 Illuminati bloodlines that I wrote about in the book that you've been talking about, 9 out of those 13 are mentioned in doing drug trading. So it's just like this Back to the Future with Biff. You know, you get somebody who rises out of obscurity, like Aristotle Onassis or John Jacob Astor, and become incredibly wealthy. He became the wealthiest man
They're just front men. I mean, I've studied Bill Gates. It was all given to him. We were just showing for people that are watching online. Radio listeners can go rent it and watch it or get it on Netflix. But The Good Shepherd, Robert Duvall puts it out. It is a historical movie. It shows skull and bones. It shows the devil as a king. That shows them doing rituals, blood rituals. ABC News, of course, has covered it, that they really do this and do human sacrifice. But they say it's mock, of course, being urinated on, bathing in feces. Here's some of that. I mean, this is what most of the CIA directors, many presidents, secretaries of state, and it's on record. Encyclopedia Britannica admits Skull and Bones was founded out of the Bavarian Illuminati in 1824. They came and set up with British money, but a German death cult. It's just another branch of that, of course, caused the French Revolution as well. They come over, they set it up, and it's set up by the main opium traders of that time with a monopoly. I mean, this is incredible. I mean, they're drug-dealing, devil-worshipping, child-kidnapping murderers, but they wear suits and ties. It's an army of psycho killers. And so many atheists say, well, I don't believe in God. I don't believe in any of this. Well, there are pygmy tribes that, believe in rock gods. The point is they believe in it in their anthropology. Whether you believe in the devil or not, the New World Order believes in it. And they think killing you is good. Go ahead, Fritz.
Well, and you're headed in the right direction in answering the question that you raised, the issue that you raised a little while ago. Why do they have all these genocidal programs? Because their agenda is not human friendly. It's a satanic agenda that's anti-human. And when I saw the kind of things that they had planned for this planet, that's one of the reasons why I was so highly motivated to do something, even though doing something was not going to be the most secure thing that I could do in life. There's a lot of safer things I could have done, a lot of things I could have done that would have made me more money, given me an easy life, but I couldn't have looked myself in the mirror knowing what I knew and not stood up for humanity and for what's right.
And of course, Fritz, that's providence that an intelligent, focused, dedicated person like you would run smack dab into an Illuminati nest and get it the best way directly from sources that turned out to be accurate, instead of us, here I am 17 years later just putting pieces together. I mean, you really ran into a nest of these guys. I want to talk about that some later before we go to calls, but I also want to talk about what they have planned for this planet. We're about to go to break, but start getting into, now we kind of got a little snapshot of how they operate, a tiny area, more in the book, obviously, but what do they have planned for the world?
Well, as you were intimating just a minute ago, it's genocide. Death and destruction, rob, kill, and destroy. They rob us, they kill us, they destroy our souls, and that's why it's satanic. It's not just a neutral. They want to make money. A lot of times people think they use the excuse, well, Hollywood's making movies because that's what makes money. No, they put out a lot of movies that are pushing an agenda, not because they're going to make money, but because it's got an agenda behind it. They print the money. This is their warfare system. I mean, they are attacking us. And what does the Bible say? That in the end times, that the dark magicians, the dark lords of the New World Order would traffic in the souls of men, and that no flesh would be spared if God didn't intervene. And now look at the bioweapons, all of it. We'll be right back with Fritz Springmeier. Get the book, Infowars.com. Goes deep down the rabbit hole. Fritz, talk about disgusting deception. Here's Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Ted Turner, all of them on record in journals that aren't for public distribution but are public. They're just not widely distributed, but we've republished it, documented it. Rockefeller Foundation, they're meeting with them. Rockefeller Foundation about sterilants and vaccines, GMO,
food really designed to reduce fertility, give you cancer. It's all out there. We know they're doing it, and they're all over the news, helping the children, and Bill Gates with black Africans all around him, and he's smiling at them. And I mean, and you can, if you have any discernment, plus you know what he is, you're looking at an absolute devil with people begging and thanking him, and everything he's doing is a fraud. And it is just so crazy that they're running around doing this to people and then financing the media, actually paying to have them say the opposite. And you see he's constantly has this smug, satisfied look and is on the verge of laughing. And it is a demonic, satisfied control freak. I just see the spirit of just, we run things, we're forcing our will, and we're going to do this to you. And they just enjoy dominating and hurting everyone. But I mean, getting into the GMO, all this, they're trying to play God. Your views on that?
Well, yeah, I concur. Another example that came to my mind as you were talking was I've talked to people who, as children, George Bush, the first George Bush president, was a pedophile and sexually molested some of these people. And then I'm early in the 90s, I'm looking at a Masonic magazine put out by the Supreme Council of the Scottish Rite, and they have his picture playing with kids, I mean, it's just something you want to gag and barf at. And
again, you're being told this by people, and so much of what they told you separately turned out to be true. You hope it's not true, but then there's Bohemian Grove that Richard Nixon said is a giant homosexual orgy, and the New York Post and Associated Press say they fly in plane loads of gay porn stars to have sex with them. This is on the news. We don't know who exactly is doing it in there. I saw photos in the camps when I was there for 5 hours of Henry Kissinger dressed up in drag, and I can't even say what he was doing on a family show, but he was, I mean, it's just, again, and then you see Sandusky, and then the local writers that expose it say, look, it was the alumni paying money. This guy was raping kids in broad daylight in the shower like he was taking a dog for a walk. They don't even hide this. All these congressmen caught in bathrooms, Fritz. I mean, exactly. I'm sorry, go ahead.
These are the kind of things that motivated me to challenge all of this and expose it. It was disgusting to the nth degree. There were times when people that I was working with that had been in the Illuminati, they would tell me a story. One time with Cisco, she told me something that had happened. I actually broke down on the floor. I melted into the floor and cried for a whole day. I mean, I didn't even know a person could sob for a whole day, but I did. I cried for a whole day. This stuff is, it's absolutely incredible and way beyond people's imagination, because a normal, decent person's imagination can't even go there. And so that's why I got motivated to actually do what I did, and other people that have bumped into it and the depth of depravity are also going to be motivated just like me. You were talking about what is their agenda. Well, one pieces of their agenda is the destruction of the United States.